That's it. Welcome to the Nothing Personal. I'm David Samson. It's the Nothing Personal postgame show. It's only 11:30 on the East Coast. Unbelievable. A Red Sox Yankee playoff game in 3.5 hours. Let me try to calm every Yankee fan down who's in this room right now, because I understand that you're despondent, and you should be. I understand that Giancarlo Stanton is good. Aaron Judge, fine. What happened to the Yankees pitching? All of you have been watching Nothing Personal since spring training. I've said the same thing over and over again. The Yankees need pitching. Forget Corey Kluber. Forget talent. Forget them all. You need someone better. How about Bauer? Nah, that wouldn't have worked out. Trade deadline comes. They bring in Rizzo and Gallo. Everyone's so super excited. All of you fans said, that's it. Cashman did it. They got lefties. They're balanced. Everything's great. And we said on Nothing Personal, where's the pitching? Oh, no, Severino's coming back. Don't worry. That'll work out. Tonight's game was exactly what the Yankees should have expected from themselves, exactly what the front office knew was going to happen. And if fans weren't delusional and media members were not such homers, they would understand that they got exactly what the Yankees are. They are a home run hitting team. They don't have enough pitching. They were built to be unreal during the regular season and never to win rings, never to make it through October. Does it say something to you that the winner of this game tonight was going to lose to the Rays no matter what? Is that consolation to you, Yankee fans, that the Red Sox are going to lose to the Rays in the division series? No. The Yankees need to be better. Let's talk about the game. A couple of things that happened that are quite interesting during the course of the game. First of all, I've known Giancarlo Stanton since he was drafted. What he did today is completely out of character for him in the first inning. He hits the ball off the wall. He's not running because he assumes it's a home run. First inning. It was not a home run. In Fenway Park, when we would play in Boston, we would actually do drills off the wall. We would have the outfielders preparing to play the balls off the wall, because when you're there for interleague, you're not there all that much, maybe every 2 to 4 years. So you do those drills. But when you are in the AL East, you know what the Green Monster is. You are running out of the box. Frankly, you should always run out of the box, but you're running out of the box no matter what. So Stanton ends up on first. All right. But then what? Then you've got a void in Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo is fine. He's actually could be a Yankee next year if the Yankees tender him a deal. He's eligible for arbitration one more time. Spoiler alert, I would not be tendering Joey Gallo a deal, because under current rules of arbitration, he's going to get a raise for the season he had for hitting under 200. Coca, I don't know if you're on here. Did he end up hitting below 200 this year? I think he likely did. He's going to get a raise. If I'm the Yankees and Hal Steinbrenner and I'm going over the luxury tax threshold, I'm not doing it with Joey Gallo. But Joey Gallo is no protection for Giancarlo Stanton.
Gallo batted 199.
What was that? Did anyone hear that? Was that just in my ear, or did everybody just hear Coca talk? I'm new to this room. So, Coca, did everyone just hear your voice?
Yeah, everybody can hear me.
I don't know what I need the earpiece for. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Coca, the producer of Nothing Personal, is in the room working overtime and not getting paid by CBS, might I add. So he's going to go to bed relatively soon, I would imagine. So Joey Gallo should not be tendered a contract. He hits below 200. So Stanton makes a mistake. Little things cost you when you are on a playoff game. And why didn't the ESPN announcers ever call it an elimination game? Did I miss something in cancel culture? Is it not? Can we not say you've been eliminated or it's an elimination game? They kept calling it winner goes home, winner goes on, loser goes home. Winner continues, loser's done. It used to just be called elimination game, but maybe something happened. Maybe they lost the rights to use that word. All right, Gerrit Cole. Biggest story of the game? Are you upset that you gave him $324 million over 9 years? Are you upset when you're paying a pitcher $36 million and he can't get out of the third inning? Are you upset when they ban foreign substances and all of a sudden Cole's ERA balloons? Are you upset when the Red Sox are hitting high fastballs, 97 at the top of the zone for home runs, where usually you get swings and misses? Are you upset when you know that foreign substances are not being used when the weather gets cold and therefore you don't have a grip on the ball because you have no sweat and you don't have any rosin and you don't have any of the spider tack? Do you know as a Yankees front office that Gerrit Cole will not be as effective because of all those factors? Yes, you do. But you still pitch him because who else are you going to pitch? That's their entire rotation. Montgomery's been fine, but that's their whole rotation. Aaron Boone pulls him in the third inning. Why? Before the game starts, Brian Cashman's down with Aaron Boone. They're having a conversation, even yesterday, and they finish it up during the course of the day. GMs are generally in the manager's office right up until 10 minutes before the game actually starts, and then the GM leaves. And they're talking about all different possibilities in the game, what the order is out of the bullpen, what happens if Cole has problems. Will they let him go 3 times through the lineup, 4 times? Do we try to get 6 innings? When I saw what was going on with Gerrit Cole, I sent a tweet sometime during the game that said Cole's on borrowed time, and then Boone immediately pulled him. And he did that because not that it was an elimination game. He did it because when you're talking about the game with Cashman before the game starts, you know exactly the type of pitcher Cole is. Not what you tell the media, not what you tell your fans. You know the truth about your players. And you can watch a game as it's unfolding, and you can see his pitch sequence. You can see his location. And most importantly, you can see how the hitters are reacting to his pitches. And that has all been discussed in advance. So it's not that Aaron Boone during the in-game interview said, I just had a feeling it was no physical injury. I just thought that our best chance right now was to get him out of the game. That's not really an Aaron Boone call. No matter what they tell you, it's really not. That's all pre-discussed. So Cole's gone, knowing that there's going to be a ton of criticism about the signing, knowing that the owner is angry that he spent all this money to get no length from Gerrit Cole. But that's the right move for this particular game at that particular moment. It becomes a bullpen game for the Yankees, but the Yankees have to assume that they are going to score at that point more than 3 runs. So you keep the game at 3-0, and you expect to win that game. That is the theory. Fast forward. Cole's out of the game. 3rd inning. Schwarber hits a home run. What was interesting about that? That's done off Cole. Cole's gone. We go to the 6th inning. Do we have highlights on this, Coca, at all, by chance? I don't think we do. Do we have rights to that? Did CBS buy the rights to the highlights by chance? I know HQ has it. I don't know if we do. Anyway, I digress. Rizzo hits a pesky pole home run. Evaldi, remember Evaldi? We talked about him on today's Nothing Personal or yesterday's. Who can remember when? Because today's tomorrow in London. He's got his stuff. When he's throwing 96, 97, when he has that sweeping slider, you watched it tonight. When he's got that going as well, he doesn't even need a changeup. He's just getting people out. Rizzo gets a little rinky-dink home run over Pesky's pole, which is a fly ball in most other ballparks. And that's it. They pull him right before Stanton is going to hit. Is that the move that they discussed? Yes, it is exactly what they discussed. He can go 3 times through the lineup, we would say, but the minute a run is scored, we put it over to the bullpen. It's all manufactured, planned. It's on a piece of paper that I have as a team president. I know what the rotation is going to be and when pitchers are coming out, which is why we get angry with managers when they don't follow the script. When they go rogue, it becomes a big concern. So cut to the Rizzo home run happens. Then Stanton's up after Judge gets on base. And this was the play of the game. The Mickasuki moment of the game was Phil Nevin, the third base coach for the Yankees, sending Aaron Judge home on Stanton's tying home run. It was 3-1. Stanton hits the ball. It's a tying home run. It's going to go out. Oh, no. It hit the wall again. Second one off the monster. Aaron Judge is on third base by the time the Red Sox have fielded the ball, and a perfect relay is going to get him. Another thing we discussed before games, another thing we discussed during spring training, another thing we discussed during the regular season, and certainly before a playoff game, it is discussed. when balls are off the green monster, you are not sending someone from third when you are down in a game and the outfielder has control of the ball. If the ball's off the monster and it gets away and the outfielder has to take 2 to 4 steps, then I'm good. Then you send him. But when the outfielder has possession of the ball and you are rounding third, just having touched it, you get the stop sign. When you're down 3-1, A-Rod, who, by the way, as an analyst, have you ever listened? I mean, I try to listen to games on mute. When I was president, I definitely listened to most games on mute. Now I listen to sound every once in a while. A-Rod's just brutal, right? He was talking about bullies, and he kept saying it would have been second and third, 1 out. No, it wouldn't have. Stanton only went to second when the throw went home to get Judge. So it was man on second, 2 outs, or it would have been first and third, 1 out. But it doesn't matter. So Aaron Judge gets thrown out. Stanton's on second. Then Gallo's up. You don't walk him even with an open base because why would you? And the rally's over, and it's 3-1. And that was their best opportunity in the game. So what do we do now? What do the Yankees do? Are they going to fire Boone? That's what you're all waiting for at 11:40 at night. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Yeah, you got to make a change. I made the prediction that if the Yankees didn't make the playoffs, that Cashman and Boone would be gone. The Yankees did make the playoffs. Isn't that crazy? You work all season long. I was thinking about that, looking at the players at the end. They're now in the clubhouse showering. They're going to get back on the charter tonight, fly to New York. They're going to go to the home clubhouse tomorrow, get their stuff, and that's it. They all disperse. That group of players will never be together again. It sucks when your team loses. It's just so bad. So I have no idea what we were just talking about. The end of the game. Stanton, Coca, what were we even talking about? A-Rod. No, I think we finished talking about A-Rod. Let me tell you what's going to happen with Cashman and Boone. Hal Steinbrenner, the owner of the Yankees, has to make a change now. You guys have gone since 2009. No World Series appearance, no World Series victories. While the Yankees did make the playoffs by clinching on the last day a wild card, they're not close to as good as the Rays. They wouldn't have beaten the Rays in a 5-game series. No one's picking the Rays to lose before earliest LCS, but likely the World Series. 2nd year in a row. The Rays payroll is in the 60s, led by brilliant people in the front office from top to bottom at every level. And what do the Yankees have? They have money that gets spent year after year that's not giving you results. Picture your own business, right? Would you keep investing money in a business that had no prospects to ever make money back or to give you a return? At what point do you say, Ganug, it's enough, I can't do it? At some point, you have to say, it's done. And I think the Yankees have gotten to that point. Some of you are saying the wild card is not real playoffs. Well, speaking as someone who got in through the wild card in 2003 and has a World Series ring, but there was no elimination game. We went right to the division series against the Giants. So are you saying when we invented the single elimination rule that that's not really making the playoffs? I would argue that game 163 tiebreakers is not making the playoffs. But once you make it to the wild card round, that's the playoffs. Do you remember when the NBA used to have, many years ago when I was young, the NBA, the first round was 2 out of 3. And in the NBA, it was such a very quick series. It was crazy when an East Coast team had to play a West Coast team and they'd have to fly across the country for a 1-1-1. It was total lunacy. That counts as the playoffs. If the wild card round were 2 out of 3, would that count as the playoffs? But one game doesn't? Yes, it does. The Marlins made the playoffs last year. They actually won. They won a round. So I guess, no, I'm with you. It's got to be the playoffs. Okay, so I'd like to talk now. What else, Coca, can you tell us, do you ever want to say? What do you? Someone is saying, hey, Dan, thanks for coming on here. We're live. I don't know what this means, but I think that you're watching and you want to know. I don't know if this is private or people seen this. Do you ever say, what the hell are you talking about to Samson? Folks, that's what he says to me every night and every morning. When we're preparing Nothing Personal, he is actually talking to me about subjects and we send topics back and forth. Tonight, we're still going to talk about what we're doing in tomorrow morning's show. And he'll often say to me things during the show in my ear, because this thing right here, this is in my ear, and this is where I hear Coca during the show and right now. Although now it's weird because you hear him when he's talking. But Yes, he says that to me all the time. Okay, so I'm getting distracted by the comments, Coca. So I don't know. Do we read some of these and answer questions, or would you rather that I continue to talk a little bit about the Red Sox? But yeah, my pick of the day was the Yankees. We'll address that tomorrow. I was on HQ going against Will Middlebrooks, and we were both discussing the 6 o'clock on the 6 o'clock HQ. Go to CBS Sports HQ. It's good with Will Middlebrooks as an MLB analyst. So we were talking about and previewing this game. I knew he'd pick the Red Sox, so of course I'm going to pick the Yankees. I actually thought the Yankees would prevail because I know that MLB really needed the Yankees to prevail because they want the Yankees in the playoffs. They need the Yankees in the playoffs. But at the end of the day, I just didn't think they would allow themselves to have a game like this. But then as I'm watching the game, I realized, of course they would. Of course they would, because it was their whole season. This game was a microcosm of their season. Okay, now, Dan, yes, it is all live. Everyone can see it. Thanks for answering. Love the show. Wait, so everyone can see what I'm reading too? This is really quite something. I'm not really on YouTube. I'm on something else called StreamYard. Okay, Red Sox. Boston Red Sox had a team that was supposed to win 81 to 84 games. They bring back Alex Cora. Remember the Houston Astros bench coach, the guy who was suspended for a year, fired by the Red Sox. They hired the interim manager last year, got rid of him. He was the former Brewers manager whose name has Coco. What was the name of the interim manager? I can picture him right now for the Red Sox. And he was there for just the year, and then they just got rid of him. He was the bench coach for Cora, and they took the interim label off him. They made him permanent, and then they fired him at the end of last season to bring back Cora.
Ron Renicky.
Thank you. God, this is how Coca helps me. Thank you. He remembers everything. I also think he's got 5 screens up, but doesn't matter. I've got no screens up. So Cora comes back. What else did the Red Sox do? They traded Mookie Betts. Do you remember that? They traded David Price. That doesn't matter. They got back Kike Hernandez. They got Alex Verdugo. Why do I know that name? Is he the one who may have had the 2 RBIs today to make it 6-1? That could have been him. The Red Sox actually built a team under Chief Baseball Officer Chaim Bloom, under an ownership, John Henry and Tom Werner, who are far less meddling than they're given credit for. They hire smart people and let the smart people do their job. Not as well as the Rays do it, but almost as well. The Red Sox have a team that when you look at them, you look at the lineup and you say, God, the Yankees have a way better lineup. You look at Stanton, Judge, Gallo, and Rizzo, and you say, this can't be. They can't get one single, go 3 for 6 if you're Stanton, Judge, and 2 for 20 everybody else, or 3 for 20. How are the Red Sox going to score? And then you look and you realize the Red Sox offense was just as good as the Yankees offense. You look at the runs scored per game that the Red Sox do, and you realize that all season long, they were just as good as the Yankees. And then you realize they had the same damn record. And then you realize that every time we meet with our team and tell them that game number 42 matters, and they're all bored and hungover and in the dog days of early summer, late spring, and they don't want to play hard, and you say these games matter, they were at Fenway Park because early games mattered. This game was at Fenway Park tonight because the season series between the Red Sox and Yankees was 10-9 Boston. That's the tiebreaker. They were at Fenway Park because the Red Sox crushed the Yankees early in the season, crushed them. And the Yankees, while they won 9 out of the last 12, too little, too late. So every game matters during the regular season, which is so counterintuitive when there's so many games. It's so hard to get up for games day after day. It's why the players need greenies. It's why they need amphetamines or Red Bull or Ritalin or all the things they want to take. Some do take. Some say they don't take, but some do take. Many take. Lots of coffee, lots of Red Bull, because it's so hard and you think that the game won't matter. What's one game out of 162? It's the Yankees home right now and the Red Sox moving on. So the Red Sox are going on to play the Tampa Bay Rays. Going to give you a little preview of that series. The Tampa Bay Rays announced their rotation. Owners are so angry with Stuart Sternberg right now and the Rays. The Rays are starting game 1, rookie. Game 2, rookie. Game 3, rookie. No $17 million Evaldi. No $18 million Charlie Morton. No $36 million Gerrit Cole. Rookie. 1, 2, 3. The Red Sox are going into Tampa for 2. The way the 5-game series works, it's 2-2-1. What is their best hope to beat the Rays 3 out of 5? Rain delays? It's likely going to be a sweep. I'm calling that right now. I think the Rays will sweep the Red Sox. Well, I think the Red Sox are fine. They're not in the same league. I want to move away from I'm going to get to a few more questions if you don't mind. First of all, Joey, Stanton's not overrated. Why do people think Stanton is overrated? Giancarlo Stanton is worth every penny he's paid. I'm not saying that because of his contract that came from our regime. I'm saying that he provides something in your lineup that you need, but you have to have complementary players around him. Where would the Yankees be without Stanton? Stop that. Okay, so let's talk about tomorrow. We're going to wake up and we're going to have the Dodgers and we're going to have the Cardinals. And I want to tell you one quick story here before you all go to sleep. Don't go to bed yet. This is a story about the wild card single elimination games. And I touched on it a little bit during the show, but I want to give you a little more color about what happened here and how the votes happened. When decisions are made to have an additional playoff round, there's a discussion that happens at the committee level in Major League Baseball. Committees are made up of owners and presidents. They're assigned by the commissioner. You are asked to be on a committee. And committees are there to discuss certain rule changes that are going to happen, certain strategic initiatives of Major League Baseball. And then committees make recommendations to the broader ownership group. Then those recommendations either get voted on or they get shelved or tabled and never voted on. And while that process is happening, you're doing a lot of politicking. You're speaking to other owners. You're speaking to other presidents. You're speaking to people in the commissioner's office. You're trying to fight for what you think is right for the game going forward. Rob Manfred and Bud Selig say the same thing, the two commissioners I worked with. They say it's your game. You have to decide. 23 of you have to decide. That's 23 owners who are needed to do anything. You have to decide what kind of game you want. When it was presented the possibility of expanded playoffs, it's a thrill to middle and low revenue teams. You want the opportunity to get a playoff run, to be in the playoff hunt in September, because that's how you can increase your annual gate revenue. That's how you can get more sponsorship dollars, by having more meaningful games and not having all of August, September playing as a spoiler. So the more teams that can be in the playoff race, the better. While the players' union has some objections and think that we're all tanking to be mediocre, they're totally wrong. We're all trying to win rings. We're not trying to just squeeze into the playoffs. According to Scott Boras, if you are the Yankees, you're satisfied with your season. You won 90 games. You made it to the playoffs. No, the Yankees aren't satisfied. 29 teams are not satisfied every single year. So ignore that when you read that. We all want rings. We don't want to just make the playoffs. We want to be better. But under that umbrella of being better, we want games that matter. The more games you play. What was that great Jeter stat? I believe in Jeter's career, he played one game that didn't matter. That sounds impossible to me. I think it was like the last game of his career, the Yankees had been eliminated from postseason contention. But every other game, like game 1 of the season matters to all 30 teams. Game 60 matters to all 30 teams because you're not eliminated yet. A game that doesn't matter comes after you've been eliminated. So in theory, the Yankees were not eliminated because Jeter made the playoffs every year. So it is possible that he played one total game. The Marlins, we played hundreds of games that didn't matter. And believe me, they stink. You can't believe it, what to do. You're watching your team and you're evaluating. You're thinking about next year. You're worried about your payroll. You're wondering what moves to make. You're looking at fans who are drinking beer and throwing popcorn, trying to get more fans to come, doing promotions. The best way to do it is to have games that matter. So we're all into this expanded playoffs. And that's when the fight came. Because in order to make the TV schedule work, the ESPNs, Foxes, Turners, they wanted these elimination games. They want game 7s and they want game 5s in the first round. That's where they get their money because that's where you all tend to watch the games. That's where advertisers tend to want to be a part of. That's where all of the rights that they pay to the league, that's where they can get their money back. So picture an entire postseason of CBS March Madness in NCAA basketball. That's what all the networks crave. So the owners are approached saying, hey, we have a bidder for an additional round of playoffs, but it's got to be a single elimination game. The owners say, no, let's make it 2 out of 3. The broadcasters say it can't be 2 out of 3. We don't want games going deep into November because we have an entire slate and we fit postseason baseball in the October framework. And that's it. Keep it right in the box. And the owners say, listen, can't we go into the first week of November? And the broadcasters say, no, we don't want to do that. The owners say, well, can't we just maybe get a fewer off days? Maybe start the regular season 5 days earlier. The union says no. The players want the off season. They don't want to go to spring training on February 10th. They want to go the week of the 15th, 16th, and 17th. So all of this is in play. Should we lower the regular season, shorten it from 162 to 154? No, because 8 teams can block that vote, and 8 teams don't want to give up 4 home games. If you go 162 to 154, you're losing 8 games, 4 at home, 4 on the road. Teams that sell out don't want to lose those home games. We never cared. We'd go to 154 right now. We wouldn't lose $1. They, Marlins and 17 other teams, wouldn't lose money. But there were too many votes. So what do? So we start canvassing the owners, and we don't have the votes for the single elimination. And so what actually happened is that it was either going to be single elimination or no wild card round at all. It was never going to be 2 out of 3. And we finally went to the group of owners and said, listen, you want 2 out of 3? That's not a choice. We can do the single elimination. Here's how it'll work. We need to leave some days for the tiebreakers because some years there could be tiebreakers. There could be chaos the way there could have been this year. But in general, it's either single elimination or none. What do you want to do? And that's when the owners agreed on single elimination. And when we made that decision, it was never contemplated that a team like the Dodgers would be playing tomorrow night. Never. It never, when we did all the simulations and we did 10,000 different looks of different seasons, there was never a 106-win team playing in a wild card game. It just didn't exist. So I feel for Dodger fans tomorrow night. You've got Scherzer going. I totally understand your concern because Scherzer had a bad start already. What happens if he has another one? That'll be the end of the Dodgers. That will be despondency central. If the Dodgers and Yankees are eliminated in back-to-back days, that's not good. We're going to have way more on Nothing Personal on that game tomorrow in just a few hours. I want to take a few more of your questions here and see what you have. Carlos Correa. Oh, that is So You Want to Talk to Samson tomorrow's show. So make sure you download, rate, follow. I hope you're subscribing to the YouTube page right now, but please do that. And then hit like a thumbs up button that Coca told me about. I've got a thread here on this blazer. I've been wearing this blazer all day. I feel like I did that hour-and-a-half podcast with Eddie Mata today. You should check that out. He's a funny guy. He's the one who imitates all batting stances. He's an actor. He's got a show. In any case, so we're going to talk about Correa in tomorrow because someone went on Twitter at David P. Samson, asked me what I would do with Correa. Would I sign him? Would I not? All right. People want to drop some Yankees Red Sox questions into the chat. Oh, that's you, Coca, asking people to do that? Really? Okay. Drop some Yankees Red Sox questions into the chat. I'll drop one. Did that game go over? I think the over-under was 7, right? And the final score was 6-2. That game definitely went over. Okay. But, Coco, while people are doing that, I'd much rather – okay, I'll answer that one question, then we'll move on. Is that okay, Coca? Would I fire Phil Nevin? No. Everyone's calling for the third base coach of the Yankees to be fired, Phil Nevin, for what he did with Aaron Judge. No. Phil Nevin is not the reason the Yankees lost. He made a mistake. Third base coaches make mistakes. It totally stinks that he did it in an elimination game when it really mattered in a 3-1 game. I totally get that. But no, I'm not hiring Phil Nevin because of that. What you have been reading a lot are coaches being fired all over the place. That is correct. But the Yankees will not fire Nevin. Now, if they fire Boone, which I think they will, it's possible that the new manager will come in and want his own third base coach, his own bench coach, etc. But I'm not firing him just because of that. You want to know about J.D. Martinez. That's not great. He's got a problem. He sprained his ankle. When you have a high ankle sprain, and they didn't announce whether it's high or not, but that's usually 5 to 7 days during the regular season. You can tape it up super tight and maybe go out there. And as a DH, you have maybe a better chance. But if it's his plant leg, which ankle was it, Coca? I don't even know. But if it's his plant leg, that's a problem, because if he can't put any weight on it, then he's only using his back foot. So that would not be positive. So I wouldn't expect JD to be ready to go, because the Red Sox starts already on Thursday in Tampa. That's what the Red Sox are doing. If it's the Marlins, we're on the plane tonight going to Tampa because
left ankle.
It's his left ankle. Okay, thank you. The Red Sox should be getting on a plane right now to fly to Tampa. You want to get into the Renaissance Vinoy tonight. You want to work out tomorrow in the Thunderdome and be ready for Thursday's game. Now, there's some teams that are veteran teams that would say, hey, we'd rather spend the night at home and fly on the off day tomorrow. I never liked that. I was always willing to spend the owner's money and stay in a hotel the extra night, because that's when you fly right after a game and not on the off day. You have an extra per diem for the players and an extra hotel night for the traveling party, and per diem for the traveling party. But it's always worth it in my mind to wake up where you're supposed to be. And it's important for the Red Sox to swing some bats tomorrow. So I would expect them to get on a plane and head to Tampa right now. Okay, what else? If there's a salary floor, how does it affect a team like the A's who plan on being under 70 million? Hello. It not just affects the A's, it affects the Marlins, the A's, the Indians. It's a major problem. And what'll happen is
not the Indians anymore.
True. The Guardians? I'm just going to call them. Can I just call them the Cleveland baseball team? Am I going to get canceled? Can we edit that out? All right, ready? Start that again. 40-69. It's the Cleveland Guardians that don't want a salary floor either. It's the Marlins. It's the Royals. It's the Rays. There are at least 8 teams who do not want a salary floor. So say it with me. What does it mean? There will not be a salary floor. Don't you worry. Okay, you want to know about the Rays and whether or not they're going to relocate? We've covered that. We're going to talk about that way more on Nothing Personal. Their split city plan. We've had some fun with that. Did you all watch today's Nothing Personal? Coca thought that the phone call that I did with Urban Meyer and Shad and his family and his wife and his kids, that it went on too long. It was a 4-minute phone call followed by an 8-minute segment on what was going on with Urban Oscar Meyer and his press conference. We have an entire follow-up to that on tomorrow's show, because the owner of the Jaguars came out with a crazy statement, and Urban came out with a statement on top of his statement. So they're doing like dueling statements. It is such an absolute disaster.
Let's land the plane here and get back to the Rays, please.
Okay, sorry. People want to know why I say 15, 30, 69. You're going to have to figure that out yourselves. Hey, look at Joey P, Coca. Love the phone call. Loved it. See that? What were we talking about again? What did you want me to talk about, Coca?
On the screen.
Will the Rays ever leave Tampa if they continue to have such lackluster ticket sales? They can't leave until 2028. They have a lease that goes until that far. The odds of Tampa Bay leaving are de minimis. Major League Baseball is trying to save as many markets as possible for expansion. Do you know what the relocation fee would be for Stuart Sternberg to move into an expansion city? $1 billion. Do you think Stuart Sternberg wants to pay $1 billion to MLB just to try his luck owning a team in a different city when he's had such great on-field luck and skill? Here's my prediction. Stuart Sternberg, if the Tampa Bay Rays win the World Series, will sell the team, and Jeff Vinnick will buy the team, get a stadium built in Tampa, and the Rays will stay in Tampa. That's my prediction for that. Okay, Parker Frank, I'm not responding to that. Okay, do the Red Sox have those underwriters at a job for the plane ride tonight? Which one? You say that the team would have decisions in place already ahead of games. Do the Red Sox have those done already? Okay, thank you. Great question. When we are preparing for a series, there's several ways you prepare for a playoff series or a series, even a regular season against a team when you're playing them 3 or more times, even in a 2-game series, really even a 1-game series. You are preparing your pitchers against every one of the hitters. You're preparing your hitters against every one of the opposing team's pitchers. That is what your analytics department is doing. They're coming up with all those stats that then get filtered actually up into the GM's office. Then the GM sits with the manager, and they're talking about what approach they want to do from building a lineup to then building the rotation. The lineup gets built not positionally, it gets built by order. Which players do you want in what order of the batting order? And then we place them into their positions. When we run into a problem is when we're missing a position, let's say, and then we have to have our not ideal lineup because we need to get a true second baseman or a true first baseman or a true left fielder. When those situations come up, sometimes you choose defense, sometimes you choose offense. Choosing defense means you put in your regular left fielder even when you are told through your analytics department that your regular left fielder should not play because of the matchup against the pitcher. Sometimes you choose offense where you play people out of position on defense. So you're going through and you're doing all of that in advance. And then you are going through the specific game, but you can only do that one game at a time because you don't know how the game will unfold. You don't know which bullpen arms will be available. You don't know anything until the game is played. So you can only prepare your flow chart of who's pinch hitting when and who's pitching when, one game at a time. Okay. How do I feel about the Angels offering an extension to Shohei Ohtani? Do me a favor and listen to that episode of Nothing Personal, because Rob Manfred believes that the Angels already have offered Shohei Ohtani an extension. It actually wouldn't be called an extension, would it? If you offer someone a contract before they've ever played a game for you, and that's why they sign with you, is that an extension? I'm going to say no. There was already a deal done. Shohei Ohtani is staying with the Angels. Tell us everything that crossed your mind when purchasing. By the way, we don't have time. You want to know everything that's on my mind at all times? What's on my mind is when we're done here. I don't know how long we've been going, Coco, but I'll tell you this. As soon as we're done here, I got a movie to watch that we're reviewing tomorrow. I didn't get to it yet today. Welcome to Collinwood. One of you told me to see that on Twitter. It's a Sam Rockwell movie, and I'm reviewing it tomorrow with Sam Rockwell. George Clooney's in it. I can't believe I missed a Clooney and Rockwell movie. All right, Coco, what else? Is Boone done as Yankees manager? We talked about that. Has your opinion of Manfred soured at all since he took over for Seelig? I'm schwitzing a little bit. They turned the air off in the studio after midnight. Did you know that? That's outrageous. Come on, CBS, put the air back on. No, Rob Manfred is a really good commissioner. He gets a bad rap for people saying he doesn't like baseball, but he does. He has an impossible job. He's answering to 30 owners. He's really good. He's really smart. Where he shines most is in labor negotiations, which are starting right now, which are happening right now. That's what the commissioner's office does during the playoffs. The union representatives and commissioner's office people are all at World Series games, and they tend to have meetings on site that aren't all that productive. But there's no way. Oh, my God, you must sleep during the day. No, I don't nap at all. I think I've seen the package. He loves money more than baseball. Talking about me or Rob Manfred? No. Who doesn't love money more than baseball? I'm just curious. 30 owners love money more than baseball, no matter what they tell you. When you own your own company, I know you may love your product because it's so amazing. I love it. I love baseball, but don't you want to make money? You're not running a charity. Am I going to do another live show after the game? That's going to be up to you. We need to get people onto this channel. I don't know how many people are watching. I don't know how you figure this out. I don't know how to do that, Coco. Do you? I said if there's more than 50 people here, then we're going to go ahead and do one tomorrow night if Coco doesn't resign. Well, it is 12:06 on the East Coast. It's 9:06 on the West Coast. This has been a live post-game show. I appreciate your time. We're going to talk about Trevor Bauer tomorrow on the show or tomorrow night after the game because his video tonight, oy vey, it was insane. I appreciate you subscribing to the YouTube channel. I appreciate your support of Nothing Personal. And remember, it's just business. This is nothing personal.